Good afternoon, everybody. We've got ourselves some final injury reports for the week from both the Seahawks and the Lions. Greg Bell has got it in his tweet here, so let's take a look and see what the damage is. And it's not ideal. We've known that all week, though. We've kind of known that this was not going to be the prettiest injury report. So, taking a look at the Seahawks side of things first, out Jamal Adams, which if you listened to Pete Carroll earlier this week, it was pretty obvious that he was not going to be playing in this game. So, no Jamal Adams yet. Seems like he's got a really good chance to be back for week 3, but not this week. So, everybody should have been on board with that pretty much. Charles Cross, also out. No surprise there. If you listened to Pete earlier this week, he basically said he's out. He usually doesn't say definitive things like he's out, but when you heard him say it's going to be hard for him to get back, you kind of knew. So that's obviously the big one. That's the one that really cripples this team's opportunity to win games. Because if you lose one of your tackles, assuming your tackles are an important part of your offense, which on this offense I definitely think they are, you lose one, okay, you can do some stuff to mitigate that. You can have tight ends help. You can have running backs help. You can shift protections. There are things you can do. But if you lose both tackles, which we now have because Lucas is out a month, there's not really a ton you can do that you're going to feel all that good about. However, what I will say is that now that we know we have no Cross, and we've known for a few days we had no Lucas, it's going to be very interesting to see a few different things. And I say interesting for a reason. I'm not saying good. I'm not saying anything positive about it because it may not go the way we need it to, but there is an opportunity here for, at the very least, this coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball to show me something. Show something in terms of creativity, show something in terms of flexibility, do something to customize your game plan around not having these guys. And if you can do it, that's going to make people feel better about you guys. That's going to make people feel better about Waldron. And it's going to make people feel better about the future of this offense. If you can, in 1 week, go from an offense that was obviously predicated somewhat on taking 7-step drops and deep shots, etc., all these things you can do when you have good tackles, to the offense we are probably going to see this Sunday, which I imagine is going to be 3-step drops, get the ball out of your hands quick, swing passes, screen passes, the stuff that you have to do when your offensive line is not reliable, then at the very least we can say, hey, this Waldron guy came up with the right plan. Will it be enough to win? That's an entirely different matter. It may not be. It very probably wouldn't be. Just because you come up with that game plan doesn't mean your team is going to be able to do that game plan terribly well, but it's the only hope. There is no way an offense that is bookended by Stone Forsythe and Jake Curhan is going to be able to do the things that you thought you were going to be able to do with Cross and Lucas. So this is a test in many ways for Waldron, Gino, and the offense as a whole. I feel like the ship has already sailed on Forsythe becoming a decent player, or Curhan's a decent backup, but I don't think he'll ever be like a decent, well-rounded tackle, like a starting tackle in this league anymore. So I'm not even really thinking about that. I'm just thinking about how can we customize a game plan around these very much substandard players. One other player is out, Mike Morris, out with a shoulder, and this one, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it does irk me. This guy had a shoulder injury all offseason, missed a lot of preseason, missed a lot of camp, missed a lot of practice, etc. So you activate him for that first game. He goes out there, plays less than 30 snaps, and now he's got the shoulder injury again, and he's missing time. That tells me he should not have been out there. That tells me that he re-aggravated something he already had. You did not need to put him out there. But you probably had to put him out there because you had no choice, because you didn't have enough guys on that defensive line. So, not happy about that. Feel like we mismanaged that situation. Questionable. We got a couple guys here questionable. We got Boye Mafe. I feel like Mafe's going to play. If I had to guess, Mafe will play. I'm not worried about that. We'll see, though. If he didn't practice today, that would be a very bad sign. So maybe a little later today we'll learn something different. But Mafe, I don't know. I don't feel like he's going to miss this game. I don't. And if he does, that's a big problem. We need all hands on deck right now if we're going to figure this out. Also questionable, Devin Bush. That one, I would like to see Devin Bush out there. I'm concerned by the fact that he didn't practice on Thursday. We'll have to see if he practiced today. But at the same time, I recognize that Jordan Brooks has shown he's at least capable of playing every snap if he needs to. And at the end of the day, I know that this coaching staff is likely to prioritize Brooks over Bush anyway. So Bush may have not played very much either way at this point. So definitely not a huge deal. So the guys not listed here, you've got Witherspoon. So he's clearly just ready to go. Witherspoon ready to play his first NFL game. So that's definitely good news. That's definitely something we can feel good about. Cam Young was on the injury report earlier this week, but he's not here anymore. So I think Cam Young is going to play. I don't know how much he's going to play. He's obviously got a lot of work to do, but good news. That's the Seahawks side of things. The Lions side of things is a little simpler, but could be pretty significant. They've got 3 players listed as out. And among the players they listed as out is Emmanuel Mosley, who was an important part of that secondary as a starting corner. That's not nothing. Khalil Dorsey is out with an illness, which surprises me. I thought for sure the illness would clear up by game day, but he's out. Now, he's a backup. I don't know how much he was going to play anyway, but they are thin at corner now. Thin at corner. Can we find a way to take advantage? Will this offensive line give us a chance to take advantage? I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see how we take advantage of this ailing secondary now. And Josh Pascal out with a knee injury, one of their defensive linemen. Not one of their key defensive linemen, not a starter, but a piece. They still got a good defensive line over there with or without him, but a notable piece of that defense, I guess you should say. Not significant, but notable. And this is the big one. Doubtful is Taylor Decker. Generally speaking, when I see a player listed as doubtful, they never play. Very rare you see a player listed as doubtful go on to play. It happens, I feel like, maybe 10%. So I don't think we're going to see Taylor Decker this week. So we don't have our left tackle, neither do they. So that's got to be something you try to find a way to take advantage of, because that left tackle spot is really the only weakness on that offensive line. They've got a real nice offensive line with Decker in there. It's tough to find a flaw there. So Taylor Decker, if he doesn't play, that's your spot you can try to do something against. So that's a big loss. Taylor Decker's a good player, and that's going to at least open some stuff up here. So that's what we're dealing with on the Lions side of things. They've got some losses too, so they're not going to feel bad for us. They're not. I know our losses are a little bigger, but they've got some significant ones as well. Real quick here before I get out of here, there is a little bit of news. Interesting story. Michael Jefferson, a wide receiver who got injured in a car crash last April, most recent April, Louisiana player who was probably going to get drafted, did not get drafted because of the car crash. Seemed like his NFL dreams were dead. But he's made a little bit of a comeback story here, and some teams are looking to sign him. Some teams are looking to pick him up and see what's up, and the Seahawks are among them. Now, we don't really need a wide receiver right now. That's really the least of our concerns, but this is a pretty cool story, and it wouldn't shock me if we did pick him up. He's clearly talented, probably would have been like an early to mid day 3 pick if he didn't get in the car crash. So we'll see where this goes, but pretty compelling story if you look into this guy's past. Talented, capable, and deserves a chance in the NFL. See you guys later.